Hi everyone, welcome back. It is Monday, week 6, QTalk Live. I'm QFom Gray. Duh. Anyway, so totally excited today for the project. I don't know why. I'm completely infatuated with this project. I think it turned out so well. We played around with it about 10 days ago on Twitch. So if you're following along there, you might have already seen it, but I'm going to go through it in detail today. So, a couple things to update regarding Twitch. I am officially an affiliate on Twitch. So, if you have Amazon Prime, you can go to twitchprime.com and hook up your Amazon to Twitch, and you get free subscriptions, which means you can go to my homepage, click on the subscribe, and I can actually make a little bit of money. Yay! I know it's all of $2.50, but every bit is counting right now because we have no income. Okay, so I'm noticing that my screen is blinking. Is it blinking for everybody else too, or is it just me on Facebook? Anyway, hopefully it's just me. Hold on a second. I'm gonna fix that. See if I can fix it just a little bit. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I get a feeling it's me. All right. So anyway, coming up this week, Wednesday, decided to do a sawing day. If you want to join me, we're going to go through some tips, tricks, and how to make sawing the best thing ever because I love sawing. Sawing is so much better than filing. Sawing is so much better than a lot of things. I just love sawing. So we'll do sawing on Wednesday. On Friday, we are going to do part 2 of the perigee ring, and that is on Zoom. You can still register to join us on Zoom. It is on our website. And then next week, we're going to start a new Zoom project, and it is The Outsider. And so that I'm excited about because it's a little bit of a riff on prong setting. And I will show you here on Facebook. Like, this is going to be a pendant, but you can definitely use it for a ring. So I'm totally excited about this. There's still kits available, and you can still register for the project. Okay, there's a couple colors that you can choose from. So after you register, I'll reach out to you to see which color you want. But there are several colors that you can do. Oh, hey, I don't have my mic on. Hold on. So if you're watching on Facebook and on Twitch, Andy can respond on Twitch to your inquiries, but he cannot respond on Facebook. We can only like you on Facebook right now. I try to come back and at least address you verbally. If not, if we couldn't answer the question while we're live, I will try to contact you directly for any questions that you have queried. So that's that. What else can I tell you? So we have the Zoom, we have the Wednesday demo day, and for next week Wednesday demo day, I'm asking everyone to share their tips, and I will share it with everybody else. So I would love to hear some of your tips if you can throw it in there, because you know what, developing content every week for 6 weeks now, it's starting to get hard. I'm starting to have a hard time trying to figure out what else I can do. So anyway, so help me out. Send me your tips so I can share it with everybody, and that would be really, really cool. Today, Minimal Metal Wednesday. It's projects from the book, and or not projects from the book. Extra projects. It goes with the book. They all complement the book. You can see today I'm actually wearing one of the rings from the book, and hey, check it out. I'm actually wearing one of the pendants too. I know. It's a sock. I'm gonna here show Twitch people. Anyway, so that's that. Okay. Which so the other tip for today is, you know what, I've been working a lot on new projects and things like that, and it's just all getting a little expensive. But if you know me and you've been in my classes, you know that I always try to keep things at a minimal, and I try to keep my expenses down. And one of the ways I do that is I use scrap material for a lot of things, especially since I'm testing a lot, or some of the samples that I am making. Okay, so I'm sorry, I was just interrupted by Andy. He's asking me to switch the camera to my face on Twitch. Something's happening with my camera over there. I can't move it. I'm going to completely lose you guys. Actually, wait, I can hold it. How about that? Hold on. Let's see. Okay, there. Okay, I can hold it for a little bit. Okay, so that said, the tip, okay? You know, a lot of people don't save their scrap. I'm not really clear why you're not saving your scrap because you should be saving your scrap. It's all very usable. And if you've been following along, you'll see that most of my granules are being made from the scrap material that I'm hanging on to. And what's sort of crazy is, so this weekend I'm developing a new project for uh, another video, and I made this weekend. And I think it's sort of cool. And I used almost all scrap. Let's see if you guys can see it over there too. So, don't throw away the scrap. Start a bin. I have a little wee yogurt container here that I keep next to my workbench, and all my scrap goes in there. So that's a tip for today. So definitely save all your scrap. It is a precious metal. Why wouldn't you save it, right? So, okay, that said, tip done. I'm going to switch both cameras down to the table, and we're going to get started. Okay, let's see. Thanks. The pendant is in the book. Remember that. Let's see if I can get that down, and then I'm going to switch over to the other camera too. Oh, I think I got both cameras going pretty well in one shot. Okay, so Facebook's good. I think Twitch is good. Great. It's a little fuzzy. Let's see if I can get you to focus. There we go. So we are focused. All right, so let's go over the tools that we need today. All right, and remember, all of the tools are in the description with links. So if you don't have some of the tools, you can definitely buy them there. Okay, they're back to the Irambita website. All right, so tweezers, I don't know. Tweezers have become my thing. I've been using tweezers quite a bit in the last few weeks, which I never did before. But tweezers are going to be your friend. You need a good pair of side cutters, a round nose, a chain nose of some sort, a leather mallet, and these bad boys. Love these. Okay, so these are Keiba Cutters. They're heavy duty cutters so that you don't break your good Lindstrom. So you're going to need some sort of heavy duty cutters, especially if you don't want a saw, and a steel dap block with a dap of some sort. Okay, you'll need 18 gauge wire today of any color, and you will need a solder setup, of course, and definitely um, some fine silver wire for the granule. I'm not sure that I remembered to show Facebook people the project. So, okay, hold on a second here. Let's show you this. Okay, so someone's asking if what's the difference between the big mallet and the baby mallet. We're calling it the baby mallet. This is actually number 2 rawhide mallet, and this is a number 0 rawhide mallet. You know what? I've been using this little one a lot lately, just for the little things, because I feel like when I'm doing something small and I use this, it has tendency to make it fly away. So I'm liking this, and it's easier to get into smaller spaces to have a smaller mallet. So I've been using the small mallet a lot. So your solder setup, you're going to need a torch, fire tweezers, some pickle. Whether or not you need liver or sulfur today, that's sort of up to you. I'll go over that at the end. But this is, again, a really easy project. So we'll start with the 18 gauge wire. And actually, I'm going to move this over here for now and make sure I am in your shot. Okay, so just wanted to also mention, if you're getting the solder station, the rotating solder station, it does not come with the board. Oh, another question that came up last week was about my really thick solder board. It's actually 2. A lot of this is happening because the reason why is because I need it for the shot. And you know, my solder board usually looks like this. And the reason why I even have this one is because you guys can't see the project because it's so dark. There's no contrast. So by putting it on a white board, it's been helpful for everyone to see what I'm working on. Okay. So anyway, um, we're going to start with 18 gauge wire. You're going to need 4 inches. I have 4 here. You want to make sure that you work in duplication when you're doing this because we want the pairs to match up. So I'm going to start with that. Take out your round nose. And again, when I turn anything, I always start with my palm facing up. Okay, I don't start here, so I always start here, and I'm going to grab the end as closely as I can, and I'm going to make the smallest, tiniest little loop that I could possibly make. And if you have the nice Lindstroms, those are really great too. The Lindstrom round nose, those are really great, but they're very expensive. And then I'm going to take my chain nose, and I'm going to, I'm going to pinch that down. And I'm going to put on my glasses. Okay, so I'm going to pinch that in to make it a really, really, really tight loop. Okay, just like so. And just manipulate it. And that's going to be my start. So let's see if you can see that there. And there. Let's see, I'm going to move over to, okay. Okay, so I'm going to put it right into my chain nose, clamp it right in there, and I'm going to make this bend. And we're going to use all of this wire, okay? So we're just going to move it up like so. And you want to make this as tight as you possibly can. You don't want any gaps in here. Now, I've already annealed this wire, and if you feel like it's fighting you, definitely anneal it, okay? So I'm just going to, and that's why the wire is so dark, because it's already been annealed. And like so. Just taking my time, making sure that I am as tight and snug as I possibly can be against the other wires. Oops. Okay, so I have a wobble because I didn't do that right, so I'm just going to pull back out and reposition. And notice how I'm clamping, okay? You see that? I'm clamping across the spiral to make sure it stays where I want it to stay and that it doesn't come back open. All right, so 2 ways of doing this at this point. All right, if you look at my original design, I go all the way around and I stop and then I solder on a little loop. Okay, see if you guys can see that over there too, or a jump ring, half a jump ring. You could do that, but it's funny because when I was twitching last week, someone suggested, hey, why don't you just put a loop right into it? So if you want to do that, you can. If you want to just put a loop right into this right here, just leave that open like so and not close it. Okay, I'm going to do it, and it was a really nice, easy way of doing it, and but I'm going to go ahead and move it all the way down. Okay, so here's a problem. I can already see that I have a gap in here, all right? And because there's a gap in there, that's not going to solder. And I know that this is not going to tighten, so I'm going to go ahead and anneal it. And let's see, I'm going to anneal it and soften that up because it's gotten work hardened from all the work that I'm doing. And then I'm going to pull it hard again. So you want to go ahead and heat it until you start seeing color changes. And like so. pull it back out, and I'm just going to pull on this wire until I can get it tight. And I'm turning the coil just to bring it around. Whatever it takes to make this come around. See? Just like that. Okay, so because this has been annealed and there's fire scale on here, it needs to be pickled. I'm going to throw it in the pickle. And so, will you need liver or sulfur for this? Not necessarily. Today you can. I'm going to heat patina this, but you can definitely do it with a liver of sulfur. So while it's pickling, you know, I had a sample. It was sitting right here. You know, it just always amazes me how I lose everything in this like 16 by 16 inch space. How does that even happen? I don't even know. Okay. Oh, you know how it happens? I just found the piece I was missing in the pickle. Okay. If you're watching on Facebook, there is a bit of a lag, a lot more than there is on Twitch, we have discovered. So I know many of you have jumped over to Twitch to start watching, which is pretty cool. So I've pickled, and here's the piece that I lost. I wanted to show you this piece too. So if you were to leave that extra piece of wire, you can make the loop. Can you see that? Instead of soldering a jump ring. So if you're not real comfortable soldering the jump ring, you can leave that extra wire and you'll make the loop there. Okay? So you'll make the loop after we dap. So here we have the coil, and we'll apply some solder. I like to use a pin instead of the syringe because the syringe just gets clogged up. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of solder on the end there for sure, some in the middle, and a little bit along the way, at least 3 different points, because you need the solder to flow all the way around the entire coil, because we're going to dap this to cup it, and if it is not soldered, it will uncoil. So since this is going to be the back, I'm not being incredibly careful about how I apply the solder. I just want solder to be like everywhere. I'm not smearing the entire thing, although you could on this one. I'm not gonna judge you on that one. It's not necessarily a bad idea. Okay, so there's my solder. You can see that, and you guys can see that. Put it down, and let's do this. So heat the whole thing and watch for the solder to flow throughout the entire coil. Okay, there it goes. It's starting to go, and ooh, did I do it? Ooh, I think I did. It wasn't this easy. Trust me, before. The demo gods are with me today. So sometimes it does take 2 or 3 tries. I just go back. If there's any gaps in here, I just go back and I just add a little bit more solder and make sure that it comes all the way around. I'm going to go ahead and pickle that again and set this aside. Oh, actually, while that's pickling, so I have a piece of silver, again, piece of scrap silver. I'm going to put it on the bench block for just a second and hammer it down flat. It was a piece of wire and I don't want it to roll away, so by hammering it's just a little tip to keep it from rolling away. So to make your granule for the middle of the spirals, okay, I'm just going to heat it right here on the bench block, just like so. Just keep the blue tip right on the wire and whoop, it becomes a granule. I love that effect. So I think you guys can see that, right? tiny little granule and pick it up right before it cools off all the way so it doesn't stick. If you have any of the board on the bottom of your granule, just pull out a little bit of sandpaper and just sand it. Just roll it around and sand it. It'll come right off. You can also just soak it in the in some water and it'll loosen up. Okay, so let's grab it out of the pickle. Small pieces doesn't want to come out, I think. Okay, coming out of the pickle. Quench in some clean water. So you'll make 2 of these, right? Make sure it's nice and dry before you put it in your DAP block because you don't want that to get rusty. All right, we're going to put this inside, and I'm going to put the yucky side down because the concave side is going to face up. Yes, yucky is a technical word. All right, so we're going to put it right here and dap it. Just make sure that your dap fits inside of it and that it's not too big for the well, okay? And okay. All right, so I have a nice dap. So now you need a really nice heavy duty cutter because this has become so heavy with all the wire. You don't want to use just your regular Lindstroms because it's not, unless you have a heavy duty Lindstrom cutter, it's going to break the tip. Been there, done it. It's too expensive to be doing that. So make sure you have a heavy duty cutter. These are the Keiba Cutters. Again, it's on the website. You know, it's interesting because the first time I used these, I was actually the last time I didn't own it. So I went out and bought it immediately the next week. So right where the wire ends, wire ends is where I have my cut. And then I'm going to just turn this around because they're flush. And I'm going to cut out basically a piece of pie. It's going to be about 1/8 of the disc, the spiral. So if you do get your DAP or bench block rusty, what can be done? You know what? It's going to take some elbow grease, okay? So you'll need to just take out some steel wool and sandpaper and clean it off. That's all you can do. How do you keep it from getting rusty? Put some oil on there. Any kind of lubricant is good, and that will help it from getting rusty. So, but if you got your bench block from us, we have anodized aluminum bench blocks, and I'm changing my shape here, and that will keep things from, hey, never getting rusty. Anyway, it was slightly off, and so there we have it. When I cut it, the dome also got a little bit flattened. I'm going to put it back in just for a second and dap that again. So if you need to stretch the picture bigger, unfortunately, someone was asking on Facebook. No, I don't think there's any way to do it on Facebook except to open up your screen. You know how you can increase your screen size on your browser. That's all I have. Okay, so here I have a piece that was already done, and notice they look like little Pac-Man, right? And I'm going to go ahead and throw this back in the pickle too. So while that's in the pickle, I will set this up for soldering again. Okay, so here we're going to take, so the first round for the spiral, if you are doing sterling silver or fine silver, you will need to use hard solder. For copper, we don't change out, we only use one solder because it is self-leveling. So I'm going to take a little bit of solder and I'm going to put it along the edge of one of the circles, okay? On the edge, the inside edge of where the cut is, okay? A little more. You don't have to put it on both. One is enough. Okay, there we go. Grab the other one out of the pickle. Okay. Quench in clean water. All right. Just cleaning that up a little bit. So here I have the two pie slices, I guess, the two triangles, and I'm going to put them inside of each other like so that they sort of nest. You see that? Okay. And put it down. Now I'm going to grab my granule, and I'm going to put a little bit of solder on the bottom of that granule also. And I'm going to place it right in the middle here. You guys following so far? Any questions? Okay. So again, this is where my tweezers come into play. I just love having tweezers right now. I feel like I'm just working with a lot of really small pieces. Okay, so I'm showing both Twitch and Facebook. And all I'm going to do here is I'm going to heat this whole thing and solder all three pieces at the same time. Heat everything. Heat it. Heat it. Watch for it to flow. There it is. There we go. Okay. It's copper. It needs a second to think about setting. If it's silver, you're good to go. And there's my piece. Okay. Throw it in the pickle. So if you didn't leave enough wire for your loop, you will need to pull out some jump rings. So 2 jump rings, or 1, I'm just making 1 here. Oops. Make sure that the end is nice and closed. And we're going to solder to the back of this. Actually, I'm going to switch out to my pumice. Let's see. I'm going to put it on top of here to see if you can see it a little bit better. And let's see if still pickling. Okay. Okie dokie. So, pieces out. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the pumice because it allows me to put the piece where I want it to put, or where I want it to sit. So because it's an irregular shape, you'll see here, and it just sort of moves around a little bit. So putting it on a flat surface is not necessarily the easiest thing to do. So I'm going to put it in pumice. I think this is a way to go because the jump ring will be right here, right on top. Okay, I don't think you can see that, so I'm going to see if I can get that to focus in for you. But right on top of there. Not wanting to focus. Okay, I'll show Twitch people. Okay, so take out your fire tweezers. A little bit of solder right at the opening so that you go ahead and solder the jump ring closed at the same time. Okay. Heat this piece. Hold it right there. Heat it, heat it. Make sure you heat down, not just the jump ring, to make sure it flows. and I got it. Look at that. Can you see that? There we go. So I soldered the back of that, okay? And I'm going to show you, so last night when I was writing up the instructions, it occurred to me, I really did it the hard way the first time. And I'll show you the difference. Okay, so here with my, the one that I just did, I soldered the jump ring right to the back. The first one, I cut it in half and soldered it to the upper edge. So you can totally see how much harder it would be to do the half jump ring than to do the full jump ring. And on this design, it doesn't really matter that you have a half jump ring or a full jump ring. But definitely if you want to take the challenge and and do just that edge, take the challenge. It's good. Okay, I'm going to throw it in pickle and we're going to finish it up. This is why I'm so excited about this project. It was so easy and I think the effect is absolutely amazing, especially if you get these really cool patina colors. So let's talk about that just a little bit. I have a piece of copper here that I'll go ahead and patina just to show you what happens. So we're doing a heat patina, which means I'm taking the torch and I'm heating it until it gets to the color that I want it to be. Now, what you need to remember is you always torch under where you want it to be, because remember, it's still hot, therefore the reaction is still happening. So you want to be under where you think you want to be, or else all of a sudden this whole thing turns black. So you're going to heat it. I like to heat the entire thing and then gently heat and wait. You see, it's already changed colors, right? And a little more, and I just keep adding heat until I sort of get there. And so what's going to happen is, you see right here, I don't know if you guys can see the change right there. So what's going to happen is it will turn orange to red to purple to blue to green to silver to brown to black. Okay, so if you're looking for it to be red, as soon as it's orange, you pull the heat off. If you're looking for it to be purple, as soon as it's red, you pull it off. And then you want to take the metal and put on something cold so that it doesn't continue to heat up, because there's heat sink here. This back plate or this solder board is still hot, and therefore the reaction is still going, right? So here, I'm going to heat it. There it is. And then I'll arrest it by putting it here. But you can see, let's see if I can get some more colors there. So you can see the blues coming up and the purples coming up, and this has actually gone too far. The blue came up and the purple came up, and then it kept getting hot, and now it's just silvery, right? You don't like the color? Throw it in pickle and do it again. I just threw it in the pickle. What you don't want to do when you're doing heat patina is, while it's still hot, you do not want to put it into the you don't want to put it into or you don't want to quench it, because it's just going to turn it brown. Okay, so you want to just let it rest and let it cool off on its own. But just remember, while it's cooling, it's still hot, therefore the patina is continuing to work and the colors will continue to change. And I don't know why, but my earring is taking its time right now, so let's give it just another minute. You'll need a brass brush or some steel wool to clean it up. I'm going to grab a brass brush here. So I want to take a minute here and thank everybody who's been sharing the videos and sharing my posts. It's been really helpful to get the word out there. It's been nice to see new people come on, and new people inquiring about the process and the projects. So yeah, and that's because everybody's been so kind as to share it. You know, if you can't contribute, you can contribute by sharing. You know, if you can't contribute monetarily, you can contribute by sharing. And if you can contribute with a couple dollars here and there, buy a download, or, you know, we have a contribution button that is also linked in the description. So I'm just cleaning up the piece a little bit here. So, and stick it in here. All right. If you are again on Twitch and are an Amazon Prime member, you can definitely subscribe, and that's another way of contributing. Okay, so it's cleaned up a little bit. We're going to patina this. Actually, I'm going to patina the piece of copper one more time so you can see it before I do the earring. But it wasn't great what I just did on the sheet metal. Let me grab it out. It's fighting me over here. Okay, so if you want to start over, just pickle it and start over, because you can definitely do that. Okay, so here's my clean copper. Let's do it one more time. So I'm just going to heat the whole piece, like so. And watch, see, there it is, there it is. Oop, take it off, take it off, take it off. Ta-da! Again, I did it too much because I'm watching my monitor and not watching my piece. But you can see, like on the back here, okay, you can see how we went from regular copper to orange to red to purple to blue to the silver, and it's starting to get a little brown up there. And that's what the color changes are. So again, if you're looking for purple, you want to stop at just over orange. At red, you definitely just want to stop there, and you'll get some nice purples out of it. But if you don't like it, like I said, throw it in some pickle, do it again. That's what's fun about it. Okay, so I'm going to heat patina this. You can definitely throw it in liver sulfur. And I'll throw one in liver sulfur so you can see what it looks like. So here, just a little bit of heat, not a ton, and gently watch it. You don't want to heat it so much that you're opening up your solder joints. There we go. See, it's starting to get a little bit orangey, purpley there. Ooh, maybe too much already. Ooh. So you can see on the back it's got nice color. I don't know about the front, but not so much. Yeah, do it again. Throw it in pickle. But this is what it's going to look like in liver sulfur, if you prefer liver sulfur. So I'll do the other one in liver sulfur. So this one is it doesn't have the necessarily have the blues and the purples, but this would get you to that dark copper antique look very quickly. See? So we're already brown. Make sure that you rinse this in some water. I have a rinse bowl to my right here. And dry it off. Okay. There you have it. I will grab, a little bit of steel wool, I think. How about a Pro Polish pad? Pro Polish pad works. My steel wool seemed to have walked away already. So if you want to get some of the copper highlights back, put either steel wool or a Pro Polish pad and polish that. But I definitely want to make sure that I hit my silver ball in the middle, because I want that to be really nice and shiny. Okay. Let's see. There we have it. So that's what liver sulfur, that's the result that liver sulfur is going to give you. Okay. And we'll do the other one. Actually, we'll show you the original. You can see the difference. See, one has a lot of color and the other one's just sort of dark and antiqued. Okay, let's pull the piece out of pickle and try that again. One more time. So last week when I was working on this, I think we tried it 4 or 5 times before I was actually happy with the color. So it tells you that you can definitely do this multiple times to get the color that you want. So it doesn't hurt it, just as long as you don't open up the solder joint. So heat, and watch. So you like the ring I have on, but I have two rings on. Which ring? There you go. There it goes. It's changing. It's changing. It's changing. Pull it out. Put on something cold really quickly here. Oh, I dig it. This one's good. So this one, I have purples and blues. Very excited for this one. There we are. Okay. And so I got blues. Let's see. Is it warm enough to put on my hand? I'll show you the difference. Ah, the copper ring. This was in the book, if I remember correctly. Or something very similar. Okay, so hold on. Let me let that cool off for a second here before I put it on my palm and show you what I'm looking at. Actually, here, we'll do it this way. How about that? So you can see the difference in colors of all the different patinas that you can get. All right. If you were to use black max on it, you can only get black, that nice dark color. So that's a difference. Liver, sulfur, and some heat patina. This one was definitely heated more than this one. That's how I got to the blues and the silvery part. So this one has the oranges and the purple. This is the sample in the picture. Okay, so I think that's it for today. It was a simple project. It works pretty well as far as I can tell. Your trick is going to be make sure that you get the coil really nice and tight, because if it's not touching, the solder is not going to go all the way around. Okay, so you got to make sure that that coil is, all the wires are touching. If you're having problems and you have all these gaps, that's exactly where it is. You know, I would practice with copper first. Silver is going to be a little challenging. It's a little bit harder of a metal. Fine silver would be a lot easier to do than to do with sterling, but you can definitely do with sterling. Just remember to continue to anneal the wire. And let's be honest, sometimes this stuff, it doesn't reveal itself, the gaps, until you dap it. If that happens, it's, or do it again. Just scrap it. It's the easiest thing to do. If you really want to go back in and open it all up, you can do that, but don't be surprised if you get a hot mess, okay? So that's it for today. Really simple. Those are the fortune earrings. Demo Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. As usual, we are doing sawing this week. For everybody who's in on the Para-G class, I'll see you on Friday. If you want to get in on the Para-G class, you can still see the recording of part 1 and participate in part 2. You can register for that on our Urban Beater website. The links are in the description of the live video. So links, Andy says to mention links at the top of the project. I think I just did. Anyway, so in the description, all the links are there, okay? So anyway, I will see you on Wednesday. Have a great Monday. The weather is beautiful today. Unbelievable. It's in the 60s, so let's go out and enjoy it while we can. Let's not be so cooped up. All right. We'll see you. Bye. Okay, Twitch people, if you're still there, what are we doing? Let's